This is Daniel Holleran with Amet Ministries, and this is the third part of the message about the coming war with Iran. So many things to cover: beast tech, EMP attacks, on and on and on. Okay? Now, first thing I want to say is this week, Iran is sending antiquated warships to our coast, East Coast. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you what, if Ronald Reagan were president, or either one of the Bushes, they probably would have run over their little PT boats with an aircraft carrier. You know, because for years, it is well known throughout the world that is like the poor man's weapon. What am I talking about? Hemp. High altitude electromagnetic pulse. It's when they shoot a nuclear weapon 200-300 miles above the land surface in the stratosphere. It detonates and it obliterates and it fries all electronic items. It would send America back to the 19th century. And of course, open up the door to invasion from other countries. Okay? So what's Barack Obama going to do about this? Is he going to contest it? Now, I believe he's either weak and or complicit. But I tell you right now, he's doing his assignment is to bring America down. I recommend everyone look up the dreams of T.D. Hale, like touchdown. Those are his initials. H-A-L-E. He was a pastor. He's a pastor in Gallipolis, Ohio. Never had any dreams from God. And then God gives him these end-time dreams concerning Barack Obama and America. Now, do I believe they're necessarily going to happen? I believe they definitely can. Can they be prayed off? I'm not sure. Okay? Do I want Barack Obama to go to hell? No. Does God want him to go to hell? No. Does God want him to become repentant and to be a born-again Christian? Absolutely yes, like any other person. But time is running out for America. Let's jump to this, hemp. Now, the funny thing about sin, Israel, there's sowing and reaping, especially when it comes to sin. Blessing and cursing. And of course, David Wilkerson, in the vision, prophesied that pot would be legal in America. When I read this in the early 70s, I couldn't believe it. Well, it's happened. And what's another name for marijuana? Hemp. Okay, people can laugh at these things, but you're not going to mock God, and you're not going to mock His Word. Now, I'm going to mention another ministry, EmpactAmerica.org. EMPACT.org. Some states, some governors are already hardening their electronic infrastructures to protect against a nuclear attack. I believe Maine is one. And so this man's name is Peter Pry, and he has the former director of the CIA, James Woolsey, on there. Okay, so I recommend pass this on to your local politicians, okay? Now, I'm going to get into properly. God brought me to Zechariah 5 and 6, okay? Let's just read some of it. Let's read Zechariah 5, and then we're going to get into it. And I believe it's possible we're going to have troops in Iran. I don't know if it'll be like the Gulf War, where it'll be during the first conflict with them or a second conflict. I'm not sure. Zechariah 5, then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Now in Hebrew, that's a Megillah. Megillim is plural. Okay, the Torah, if you go to any synagogue, there's two scrolls. Okay, and they unravel, They're held together by rolls, okay? So that's what Zechariah saw. He saw a flying roll, okay, in Megillah, singular. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Now, many people have been shown this by God. This cubit was what they call the Royal Egyptian cubit, 29.64 inches, I believe it is. They've proven this with archaeology, okay? Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. That's what happens with a nuclear weapon. It absolutely obliterates and consumes wood, steel, stone, and so forth. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes, and see, what is this that goeth forth? And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah that goeth forth. He said, Moreover, this is their resemblance throughout all the earth. An ephah is a term of measurement in Hebrew, okay? So this was a container of some sort. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. Now, one thing I wanted to note is let's see. That Hebrew word can be translated Isha or Asha. Okay. And it can mean woman. It can be translated into the feminine form of fire, or sacrifice of fire, or burnt offering. So it's a play on words. Okay? So what Zechariah had seen was fire. Okay? Now Michael Rood has a teaching where he believes it was more strongly translated as fire. But if you know Hebrew at all, the double entendre, there's always a play on words with Hebrew. But I believe obviously Zechariah understood what it meant. Okay, it was fire. The fire was covered by lead. Okay. And I want to admonish people, to warn people not to get into these other translations, okay? Stick with the King James, okay, based on the Masoretic text, okay? And then he goes on to say, This is wickedness, and he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. Then lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, there came out two women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whither do these bear the ephah? And he said unto me, To build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. So no, this is a sure thing. Okay, since it's in Scripture, it's a sure thing. Now, many people believe that Shinar only represented Iraq. But back then, it was in the Fertile Crescent. It covered the Persian Gulf as well. It was also part of Iran. Okay? So what this states in the Word is that Iran will get nuclear weapons. I believe they already have nuclear weapons. They've had nuclear weapons. They just want the ability in the Arab world to be the first, outside of Pakistan, in the Middle East, to have them. They want to do their own home cooking, so to speak, okay? And so I'm going to come back. We're going to get into Zechariah 6. I'm going to touch on the mark of the beast. So many things are coming. Christians need to get ready. Okay? I know there are pastors that want to protect their people and treat them like children and not adults, and not inform them of the things that are coming, for fear that they will get into fear. But Yeshua Jesus plainly warned people in Matthew 24, Mark, Luke, and so on and so forth. And that's what the book of Revelation is all about. It says the simple man goes on and is punished, but the wise have their eyes open and are prepared, so to speak.